Hour number 2 of the show here. Good to be with you, Minneapolis, St. Paul. It is the Matt McNeil Show. 952-946-6205. 952-946-6205. Coming up here in a little bit, Michael Broadcorp comes into. I don't want to say it's our funeral speech for the Viking season, but it's probably going to be the funeral speech for the Viking season. We'll talk to him about the loss last week as well as the game coming up. But there was a little bit of a shocker of a news story that came on out where the Teamsters chief went and met with Trump at Mar-a-Lago, and obviously this is what? Yeah, exactly. Rick Smith. The Rick Smith Show airs at 8 o'clock weeknights right here on AM 950. He, of course, has got his fingers on the pulse of the union worker in this country. We had to get him on the air to talk about this. Hey, Rick.
Matt, how are you, brother?
I'm doing very well out there. How are you doing, man? It's good to see you still fighting the good fight for the union worker, man.
Somebody's got to. I'm looking at this, and I got to tell you, it's. I didn't believe it at first. At first, the first reaction I saw the picture that was sent to me, and I'm going, no, that's got to be Photoshop. Nobody would do something that stupid. And the Teamsters actually tweeted out the fact that their general president, Sean O'Brien, who I've met, who I voted for, who I like, who I'm pulling for, who I think did a great job on the UPS contract, and I have great hope for in the future. Whoever thought this was a good idea, whatever consulted gave him this nugget of an idea, should probably be fired. But when I saw this, I'm going, I don't get it. I don't get the point.
No.
Why would you make the pilgrimage down to Mar-a-Lago down there, knowing what Trump has done? I mean, this is the problem. And what's interesting to me, Matt, and I'm looking at the picture that the Teamsters put out in their tweet, saying that, hey, we're going to sit down with we sat down with Trump and had a productive discussion and all this nonsense. And the picture that they gave of Trump giving the big smiley thumbs up, and O'Brien standing there kind of like, with this look on his face and this demeanor, kind of like a guy who was cheating on his girlfriend and just realized it was a bad idea. That's the picture that the Teamsters put out. Trump put out a picture of both of them doing the thumbs up. So not only did Trump, basically get the message that he wanted, that the unions, are listening to him. He basically backdoored him on the messaging on how it went as well.
We should make sure we mention here. I would be stunned if the UAW does not go with Joe Biden, for the reason being is that Joe Biden was the first president ever to walk a line. The
UAW may. I mean, the Teamsters, on the other hand,
the UAW
have a history of bucking, going their own way sometimes. And I've said if there is going to be a national union that does back Trump, the Teamsters could be, because O'Brien is new in the thing, is got a different mindset. I can't imagine, given the fact that Biden did get the Butch-Lewis Act passed and saved multi-employer pension funds in this system, in this country, which is why this just so curious of why the decision to go to Mar-a-Lago and sit down with Trump. Look, I understand if Trump were to come to D.C. and sit at the Teamsters headquarters, much like they're saying, hey, there's going to be a round table. Absolutely. You invite him into your round table. You treat him like everybody else. But this idea that you're making a pilgrimage down to Mar-a-Lago down there to meet with him, to kiss the ring, this is the wrong messaging all the way, especially a couple of days before January 6th. Because now we're not talking about January 6th.
Well, O'Brien is okay. His whole argument, and the Teamsters, their whole argument is he has met with other members of candidates who are running, including Kennedy, Dean Phillips, and stuff like this. They're just meeting everyone to dot I's and cross T's, which that might be what he's doing. I think your point about the photos is kind of an interesting side note. But I know it's terrestrial radio, and I know I'm supposed to be a radio professional. Can I say the full BS word? No, you can't.
Okay, but you know what I'm saying here.
Yeah.
Just so I can get that out there. Bull.
Well,
Let's go with that. Because here's the thing with that. You didn't make a special trip to all of those places. You didn't go down to to Kennedy's compound. You didn't go to all of these places. Did he show up in Minnesota? Was he there to meet with Phillips? I missed that photo op.
I didn't see that, no.
Yeah, so I'm not buying that. This was something different. And that's where I have a problem with this. And here's my other problem. We know what Trump will do based on what Trump did. Trump was a very bad president for working people. You go back and you look at what he did while he was president. Everything that he did was on the side of corporate power. He doesn't support workers' rights to organize. He doesn't support collective bargaining. He doesn't support the right to strike. He is on tape saying he supports right to work. He's the guy who appointed Neil Gorsuch to the Supreme Court that brought us the Janus decision that gave us a right-to-work country for public sector workers. Does any of this ring a bell, maybe? I mean, this is a guy who time after time has sided with corporate power. This is a guy whose NLRB never missed an opportunity to side with corporate power. In fact, many of my labor friends during the Trump years stopped bringing cases to the NLRB because Trump's NLRB was so bad. Now, Trump's NLRB was horrible. Biden's NLRB has been magnificent for working people. Let me say this again. They have been outstanding. They have done absolutely everything I could have possibly imagined, and then some. And I can imagine some pretty great things.
Well, you brought up Trump and his history. The one of the things that I think about is, forget about him just as president, which you shouldn't. I mean, he's been horrible to the union worker there. But his entire modus operandi has been the same thing, to double-cross unions on contracts, pay them far less than they agreed to work for him, and do it with a smile on his face. It's not like there's a mystery here. He has a long resume of hating unions, double-crossing unions. He can't be trusted. The idea that any union would think that this is a good idea is an absolute joke.
No, absolutely. And look, Trump's a scab. He's crossed picket lines. Why you platform that person? I don't know. Now, look, what I'm being told by folks that I know is this was you know how DC PR people work. Hey, we've got a little lull. We had the high of the UPS negotiations. We need to get some energy. We need to get some activity. Maybe this will generate some attention. Well, it's getting some attention. All bad attention. And in D.C., any attention is positive. Well, this is not. This is not good. This is not helpful, especially at a time when, Republicans, and I've been saying this for the last couple of years, Republicans have been trying to make a play for organized labor for a little while. You've got the Josh Hawleys of the world, the Marco Rubios of the world, trying to make themselves appear to be less anti-worker. Their voting records, still horribly anti-worker, but their rhetoric, they appear to try. Mm-hmm. And this, to me, is another one of those moments where Republicans are trying to make a play for union money. You're not going to get the votes. I mean, the union voters are going to vote the way they're going to vote. But this is a play for the money and to take some away from Democrats. If that were to happen, that would be a major win for Republicans. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think in this case it's going to happen. I think the blowback that O'Brien's getting right now, and from what I hear, there's mutiny going on the ship. I think the lesson is going to be learned, but this was a major mistake, I believe.
Well, okay, and we had this, and I had you on to talk about this before. The state in Minnesota here, we had the Carpenters Union. I think it was 2020, 2016. I can't remember exactly. They endorsed Trump in the state. It was one of the few unions. I mean, the police unions did, and they did. And I had the Carpenters Union guy here, and I said, you do understand, and not only did they endorse Trump, but they also endorsed Republicans in the state and that were running for office. And I said, you do understand that if that local Republican is the tie-breaking vote to kill your union, they're going to, the guy that says that they're on your side will run up with cameras rolling with a smile on their face and destroy your union in a heartbeat. And yet there's this mentality. It's like we see it in Minnesota too with these nurses unions that are voting down unions right now. They're going off the union, and the mentality is, well, the other unions will save us. And I think that that's a really stupid way, because eventually you do get to that break point where they're not going to be able to save you, and then all of a sudden everything is gone.
No, and that's the problem here. And you pointed out a moment ago that nothing comes out of Trump's mouth you can believe, because he's gonna double cross and backstab you. And I don't know what I don't know what the idea was to pull all this together. I don't know why this happened the way it did, but it was a major mistake. Now, someone said, well, should he have met with him at all? I go, yeah, of course you meet with him. If Trump were to come to D.C. and go to O'Brien's office, absolutely, like any other candidate, certainly you meet with him. You don't turn him away. Hey, look, if he came to my office, I'd meet with him. It's the platforming of Trump. It's the fact that he made the overt act to go to Mar-a-Lago to meet with him and elevate this meeting to something very special. That's the problem that I have with it, because this sends a whole different message in my view.
Wasn't O'Brien just with that knucklehead from Oklahoma in the Senate who wanted to start a fight with him? It's not like the Republicans, they had an actual senator. Bernie Sanders had to basically rein in Mulwine, wasn't it? I think it was. They had
Mark Wayne Mullen.
Mark Wayne Mullen, yeah. And,
but here's the thing. To be completely fair, and this is completely fair, O'Brien started it.
Yeah, I did.
With his tweet, anytime cowboy, anywhere, anytime cowboy was the tweet. You go, the day he tweeted, I go, this might get him a butt whooping. In fact, I said this on air. He may have to take a butt whooping for this, because I would have to. If I said it and I'd back it up, I'd have to go down there and take a whipping. Yeah.
Well, I'd still he's a teamster. I'll put 20 on him. There. Okay, and I should mention I brought up UAW. Not the Teamsters, but the UAW. Didn't Trump back in September basically threaten the UAW, saying, if you don't support me, I will destroy you, basically?
Well, no, what he did is he's making a play, again, where they're making a play for the members by saying, your leadership is selling you out. Because Trump was, basically trying to talk to the members, saying, your leadership is demanding too much. They want too much for you. And look, when Biden was going to when Biden walked on the picket line, Trump went to Michigan. He went to a manufacturing company, of which the owner was there with with auto worker signs, which is hysterical. But Fain handled it properly, and this is the thing that I think is important to remember. There's a way to handle Trump, and I thought Sean Fain did an amazing job of it by saying, look, at the end of the day, our job is to take on these billionaires. He says with every fiber of our union is being poured into fighting the billionaire class and an economy that enriches people like Donald Trump at the expense of workers. He said we can't keep electing billionaires and millionaires that don't have any understanding what it's like to live paycheck to paycheck and struggle to get by expecting them to solve the problems of the working class. I thought that was brilliant. I think Sean Fain is brilliant in handling this. Now, look, he beats up on Biden too, but not in a way that is like this, a massive slap in the face.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, and the White House started already kind of pushing back on this. There was an LA Times piece. There's some stuff. This isn't good, especially as we head into election season. I don't think it's good. Well,
and one last question about this then is do you think that this is the Teamsters basically saying, hey, the Democrats are going to be there anyway. I mean, we already know they're on board with us. So, we can go and get into bed with the Republicans because where are the Democrats going to go? They'll always be a reliable vote for us. So do you think that there's some kind of trying to play both sides of the coin thing? I mean, clearly there is some of that going on, but are we looking at something on a much larger scale as we get closer to the election?
I got to tell you, it's my view that this is someone who's whispering in President O'Brien's ear that, hey, you don't know, we should probably, hedge our bets a little bit. Go meet with Trump, have dinner with him, play nice. You've said a lot of bad things about him, but hey, do this, and we're gonna endorse Biden. But if Trump wins, at least we've got this. I think there's that kind of triangulation, with the consultant class.
Okay.
You know how this stuff works. There are people who are soulless, who don't get the ultimate message. So I think I'm going to give President O'Brien the benefit of the doubt that this was a bad piece of PR consultant work, and that they should probably fire that consultant.
Obviously, you're going to have more on this tonight, 8 o'clock hour. The Rick Smith Show is right here on AM 950. Rick, as always, thank you very much for the insight. I appreciate it. Happy New Year to you, my friend.
You as well, my brother.
Take care. Rick Smith. The Rick Smith Show, once again, 8 o'clock tonight, right here on AM 950. Let's take a break. Come on back. The Matt McNeil Show on AM 950.